Okay, I wanted to take a moment to show you all the wonderful things that you can do on Alma as a parent. So, you do need a username and password to log in. If you don't remember your username or password, or possibly when you got that activation email, whether it was last week or last year or 5 years ago, you didn't activate your account, you can contact the school office at strobert.school, in order to get a reactivation link sent to you. But for those of us who know how to log in or have our username and password saved somewhere, you go ahead and log in. So I have a sample account here that I'm going to log in with. So sample.parent, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. So, very first thing you can see on this schedule is it shows you what's happening this week. Now, obviously, I'm recording this before school even starts, so nothing is happening this week. But as you go through, there any the big general event of when does school start and when does school end? That'll show up on this first page. The other thing that'll show up on the first page, if you look down here, are your students. So if you have one student, like I have here, a sample student, sixth grader, that's all you'll see. If you have multiple students, you'll see multiple students here. So my one student, if I want to see how that student is doing in class, I can go ahead and click on my student here. For the older kids, the middle schoolers in particular, all of their classes, since they switch class every 45 minutes, is scheduled in here, so you would see their schedule. For the younger kids, this isn't necessarily true, since vast majority of their day is spent with their homeroom teacher. You will see, though, their specials scheduled on this page. You can see school attendance here. Obviously today, school attendance has not yet been taken as I'm recording this on Friday, August 25th. But you could see school attendance right here as well. And you can even toggle over, there's an attendance tab. And this lovely map, well, it's blank right now because the school year hasn't started, will eventually be filled in so you can get an overview of your students' absences, tardies, presents, whatever, all there. You can do it by the year, you can do it by the week. You can even just show it in like a list form. But again, no records here for this one. The other two things that are really important in Alma is I know in the past you've gotten emails when report cards are open, but the report cards are also saved within Alma, so you always can come back to them and find them here. Those are under the report cards tab. Now, I made up a pretend student. So pretend student who did not exist last year does not have any report cards right now. But had this student had report cards, you would be able to see not just the current report card, but all of the report cards that have been published right here. The other thing is the classes tab. So if you click on classes, this is where all of the students' classes are. And I mentioned the middle schoolers, again, you have that schedule. So even if it's not blocked in a schedule, like a lot of the first through fifth grade classes might not be blocked into the schedule since they're with their homeroom teacher the vast majority of the day. You can still see the class over here, actually just like the speaking and listening class here. It's not scheduled, but it's still listed here. You can still click into it. Before I click into any of the classes, something that's really nice, if you really want to get a hold of a teacher really quick, and maybe you don't even know which teacher teaches that class, but you know your child is maybe struggling in physical education or is having an issue in science, you can come to this classes page, and a really easy way to email the teacher is by clicking on these little mail buttons right here. So if you click on that mail button, a dialog box pops up, and you can send a message directly to the staff member through Alma, and it'll show up in our inboxes. And when we respond, the response doesn't come to Alma, it'll go directly to your email, whatever email is associated with your Alma account. So that's what's nice over here on this page here about the faculty members. But then you also have this list of the classes. So you can actually click into the class in order to see your students' progress as the trimester moves forward. So I put some pretend assignments here in this English class. So I'm going to go ahead and click into English. So what we have here, it's divided up trimester 1, trimester 2, trimester 3. There's nothing in those 2 trimesters yet. Trimester 1, I logged some assignments. Again, they're completely pretend assignments. And right here at the top is the due dates of the assignments. And then you have the names of the assignments. Over here on the left-hand side is the standard that was being assessed. And so what I want to show you here is this is a great opportunity for you to see how your student, whether they're in first grade or they're in 8th grade or anything in between, is progressing before a report card comes out. Because right on here, the teachers are going to be inputting formative grades. So formative grades, you can see it says formative homework here, formative paper, and then there's a summative. These formatives, you see these 1s and 2s. It's not reason to panic, especially if it's formative. So formative shows you where the kid starts and how they progress as they move towards the summative when they are to have mastered a standard, any given standard. So it is normal to see, especially 2s on formative assessments, because a 2 means that they are approaching a standard and haven't yet mastered it. And what we as teachers are looking for is that by the time they hit this summative over here, then we have mastered it. And if we have not mastered it, what can we do to move forward? How can we fill that learning goal? So you have your 2 standards over here. This tells you what exactly was being graded, and the assignments that we graded those standards on. It is very, very common in standards-based learning and assessment that I am going to assess the same standard multiple times. In fact, you should see formative assessments of a standard prior to that summative assessment. Summative assessments are usually a larger unit assessment, something like a test or an essay or maybe a project or presentation. It varies depending on the content and the grade level, but they're typically the larger assignments. Of course, there's exceptions to that rule. Over here on the far right-hand side, you're going to see the mastery level. Mastery level is going to show you where they're currently at. So if we're looking at their progression, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, on both of these standards, this student is currently at a mastery level of 3, which is proficient. Again, that's what we're going for, so that's awesome. So this is a great tool for you to be able to track your learners' progress and to be able to communicate when you have concern, especially given those summative assessments, if you don't see the progress happening. Other things that you can do, I know we all have directory spot for contacts. You also have a directory here in Alma. So you can click on the directory up here. And this is a really great way to find people who work at this school. Okay, there's one other thing I want to show you. If you do, once you log in, if you are like me and you want to link it to if you have a Google account, you can link it to your Google account so that you don't have to remember your username and password. You do that by clicking the little initials in the top right-hand corner, and then you say Account Access Preferences, and you can connect any Google account with Alma. So I'm going to hit Connect Account, and then a dialog box will show up. I'm going to connect the Google account that I used originally here. And now what's nice about this is when I log out, I don't have to remember what my username and password is. I can just say sign in with Google. So that's something you can set up once you get into the system. That is really nice. The last thing that's on here is the calendar. This calendar is not a detailed calendar with all of our half days or anything like that. It's just the basics of when does the trimester start, when does it end. It's the academic calendar. So don't click on this calendar expecting to see everything that's going on in the school. You're still gonna want to head over to the website for that. Again, if you do not know how to get into your Alma account, that you never activated it, or you do not have the username or password that you once used when you activated it, please contact the school office. They can either just send you the activation link, or if it's a bigger question that they're not sure about, they can forward it on to me. Thank you so much. If you have more questions, do know that I will be at all the parent previews 1st through 8th grade to talk very briefly about Alma as well. Thanks.